I'm John Lehman, President of Creative Dynamic of Santa Maria, California. We specialize in providing custom software solutions for business. I'd like to introduce you to EasyTrack, an application we built for the oil and gas industry. It automates a number of project management tasks and streamlines the collection of time and materials and equipment usage. If you implement it company-wide, the data it collects can be used to give a very good overview of what is happening in your business. So let's take a brief look at the base application. I'll show you how easy it is to set up the system for your business. Then we'll take a look at the data entry screen, and you'll see just how quickly your employees can enter the relevant project information. If you'd like to see the reporting module or discuss how we can customize the application to fit your exact needs, call us. We'd be glad to talk to you. To start out with, EasyTrack is broken up into three sections. There's the startup section, the data entry section, which is this daily log, and then the reporting piece, which takes all of the information and summarizes it either in a timesheet or various interesting charts and graphs that you can use to analyze your business with. Let's talk about system setup first. System setup is designed to help you enter data later on more quickly. For example, instead of having to type an employee over and over again, you can set them up in the setup section and just type in once. Same thing with customers, vendors, and your rate books. Let's go to rate books first. Here's an example rate book for BigCo. BigCo is a customer, and they have two different rate books. One is their large project rate book that they've negotiated with you on large projects for, and then the other is their standard rate book, which is used for smaller projects. Any particular customer can have as many or as few rate books as they need. So taking a look at this particular rate book, this is the large project rate book for BigCo. You'll see that there is the rate category. This is the broad category for this particular item. There's what type of item it is. Is it a piece of equipment or is it an employee? If it's a piece of equipment, is that equipment operated or not? And what that means is if it's operated, the cost of the employee doing the operation is included in the price of the piece of equipment. So in this particular case, it's non-operated because it's a fairly small item that is just charged out on a daily basis. If it's an operated piece of equipment, you'll notice that this particular item has straight time, premium time, and double time. You'll notice that double time for this item is not double the straight time. And that's because the customer doesn't want to pay double for the piece of equipment because the equipment doesn't get granted overtime. It's just the employee that works on it. There's a few other pieces of functionality here that we can cover in more detail if you'd like to see this in a live demo. Let's go on to the employee section. This is a basic list of the employees. Right now the system doesn't need anything more than first, middle, and last name, their suffix, and the type of employee that they are, whether or not they're a welder or if they're a temporary or permanent employee. On the customer screen, once you've set up all the rate books, you can add customers and then assign those rate books to the customers so that when you later on create a job for them, only the particular rate books that are available to that customer will show up in the job list. Any vendors that you use are configured here. To set up a vendor, all you do is type in their name, their nickname that's used elsewhere, and the type of vendor that they are. So if they're a third party, if you rent equipment from them, or if they provide material to you. So once this first section of setup is complete, now it's time to actually start configuring a particular job. So a customer comes to you and says, I need you to... So a customer comes to you and says, I need a storage tank built. The way you'd configure that here is to click on the customer name, add a job name, select the job, select the location. For this particular location, these specific locations are already configured. Then you'd select the rate book. This is a standard size project. Enter a job number. This is your job number. Default number of hours per day. So when you open up a new daily log, This is the number of hours that that particular day will have entered automatically. You can always change it later. Default start and end time, again, this is automatically configured whenever you open up a job. Then you enter the line numbers for this job. A line number is a sub-project. So for example, line 1 would be clear brush. Duration 1 day, contract value $1,000. Line 2, concrete pad. With line numbers, you can make this as succinct or as detailed as you need. And then finally enter the customer's purchase order for this job. At this point, the job is configured, and each time you pull up a new daily log to enter daily information about that particular job, what occurred on that day, all of this information will be included in that daily log. So let's go take a look at the daily log itself. So now we can use the setup information that we just configured to start entering daily timesheet information. So go into the So we'll open up a new daily log. Select the customer, the job name that we configured, and the customer purchase order, the specific location that we're working on in this instance. The number of hours per day was moved over from the job. Weather today was gorgeous and sunny. Employee is Bill Atkins. Supervising employee is Bob McCarthy. Start and end time is fine. And then we start entering time information. Time information is entered on a line-by-line basis, so the system will then know which employee did what with what piece of equipment for what particular sub-project. So in this case, Bill Atkins, using equipment code labor, did 8 hours of straight time, so that automatically calculates out to $213.60. 4 hours of overtime and 2 hours of double time. And tab down to the next employee. George Atkins did some labor at 4 hours. Concrete pad we're not ready to start work on yet. Certainly can't install a tank without concrete, and there's nothing to test yet. So this particular employee set is done. Bare equipment, we didn't use anything. Operated equipment, used backhoe. Equipment number 564. Employee on this particular item was John Smith. Timesheet code was equipment operator, and we did 8 hours. This particular day for clearing brush, we had to go buy some rakes. Handling charge is the upcharge that you charge to your customer for anything that you buy from a vendor. So in this case, the default handling charge for this customer is negotiated at 12%, and the ticket item was $100. And so the system will eventually calculate out a $12 upcharge. Pressing tab brought me to the next vendor. You'll notice in the summary section that, and especially when you start having very large projects with a large number of employees, it's good to be able to check your work as you enter it. So you can summarize by the entire daily log or on a line item by line item basis. So you can see each vendor or employee or piece of equipment the number of hours you entered, and the total. And then you can also see a total across the various categories and then a grand total across everything. That way you can look back and see that George Atkins, you've only entered 4 hours of time for him. I know that he worked 8 hours that day, so I can go back and figure out where it is that I missed. Once you're done with the daily log, click on Close. And at this point, if you've entered a week worth of timesheet information, you can actually create a timesheet. That's all the time we have for this short video. If you'd like to see details about the timesheet or the reporting module, please give us a call. We'd be glad to talk to you. When you call, keep in mind that Creative Dynamic is a custom software company, which means that any part of the system that you just saw can be customized to your exact needs. Or if there are additional features that you need, for example, an estimating module, we can discuss those requirements as well. I sincerely appreciate the time you spent watching this video. If you have any questions, call us at 800-278-7856.